What's up, everybody? Welcome into a new episode of the Hermit Style Podcast. This episode was recorded last week on Wednesday, October 7th. We do apologize for this coming out late, but we wanted to make sure we still get this out to you. We go over a lot of really great information about the new format and how we've been testing for the events that happen this weekend. So definitely tune in. Our next episode, we will be talking about the results of the tournaments this weekend and everything in between. We also do talk about some of the prizing for the finals tournament online. That has since changed since we originally went over it, but it's a great segment. It's pretty funny, so we left it in there. So check it out. We'll talk about everything that's changed in the next podcast episode. That means we will have 2 episodes out this week, the one that you are listening to now, and we'll have another out this coming Friday. So stay tuned, and here we go.
Welcome to the Hermit Style Podcast with your hosts, Jim Bacon and Mike Runchuti. Talking all about the Dragon Ball Super Card Game, presented by Team TCG Mafia and produced by Lobat.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Jimmy here, Mike with me.
What's up?
We got another episode coming at you today. Fun episode. Format's new. We talked a little bit about it last week, but now we've got tournaments on the way. So lots and lots to talk about. What decks we're playing, what we're thinking that we're going to see. A lot going on. So, Mike.
What's up?
What are you up to? What are you doing?
Just got off work. Just picked Trevor up so he could record. Just trying to unwind, Long day with the kids. But other than that, chilling. Working on getting ready for this case tournament. Hopefully, top 8, split with the boys. I don't feel like playing it out, to be honest, already.
No, I don't either. But should be a good time. I'm excited. I picked up a case today. I saw some guy on Reddit. I asked him. It is it's a frame where you can put like your cards in. So it'll display like 5 across and 6 down. Okay. So I'm going to try and get all my signed cards and some SCRs and things and hang it up.
Pretty dope. Got to make sure you get the signed oob up there.
Oh, yeah. Of course. I got to find the oob voice actor first.
I thought you had a signed oob. You don't have a signed oob?
Nope.
You have signed boo. That's what it is. Yep. Signed boo.
He's a cool guy. Him and Chris Rager. Chris Rager is the guy who plays Hercule.
Oh, yeah.
They're hilarious. They're actually, if you didn't know, the guy who plays Hercule and the guy who plays Boo, they're best friends. And the guy who plays Hercule, he got the job and actually brought Chris Sabat, the voice actor for Vegeta, to a comedy show, which was his best friend's comedy show. Yeah. And the voice actor for Vegeta heard the skit, and in the skit, he did a voice like Boo. Exactly what they were looking for, and he offered him a job at that comedy place.
Damn, pretty good.
Yeah, so fun stuff. But if you ever had the chance to meet him, he's hilarious.
Yeah, I need to start going to more cons so I can meet the voice actors.
Yeah, man, it's fun.
I normally go to look at the girls.
With that, let's go in the news.
News from the lookout.
All right, so we actually got a lot of news today. A lot of news. I'll start with the update on the finals webcam tournament. I've been talking about it since the podcast started. I've been excited about it. I got the email. I was ecstatic. I hopped on. I was actually working, and I was like, work's got to wait. Brought my phone out, went in the email. I got my code because there's a special code you have to put in, and I was like, oh, this is cool. I feel real important right now, right? So I put my code in. I'm looking. I'm like, oh, man, is it going to be like metal cards? Or this has got to be something crazy. I'm looking. I see, okay, participation prizes looking good so far. We get the mat, which the mat looks dope. You got Goku and Vegeta on it. There's champ packs. There's event packs. I'm like, okay, all right, participation sweet. Where's the prizing at? Scroll down. Winner. 1 box.
Not worth the time.
1 box.
Not worth the time. That box cost them $58.50. No, it didn't cost them $58.50, actually. That's what it costs brick and mortar stores. $58.50 for a box.
Right. For them, way less.
Way less. They printed it. They charged GTS probably, I'm assuming probably like $30 a box probably. Because I've seen GTS sell boxes as low as $25 before on like fire sales. So I'm going to assume they charge around like $25, $30 to GTS. So 1 box is insulting. I win a box on Sundays at locals. What are we doing here? And that's like 4 hours of my time.
Man, I was so bummed. It actually works out, though. We're celebrating my mom's birthday that day, and the tournament doesn't start till 5:30 p.m. Eastern time, which is also insane.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know what they're thinking about that either.
They said you're playing at 3 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, the whole thing hasn't started. It seems like a mess. So I'm paying my participation fee. It's $15 because I do like the mat a lot. I just want it, and I mean the promos. Even though the price has gone down at $15, there's reason not to.
You pull a Metal Cooler, a Gogeta that's apparently going up in price, and I don't know, any other one that's halfway playable, you've probably doubled your money. So
right. So it's I'll pay that, but it's kind of a. I mean, if I was free, I'd play just because why not?
Yeah.
Right. But definitely not
Stressing
over canceling plans to go do it. So
I wouldn't miss anything actually to be involved.
And I guess this is the other half of what we're talking about, that they're moving into webcam tournaments, right? Organized play right now, they're moving to webcam tournaments.
Shit's awful.
If this is the pricing, that is terrible.
This is for people who just love playing. And don't get me wrong, I love playing.
Oh, I do too.
But my issue with webcam tournaments now, like it's actually not the cheating. None of that. Like we already talked about that before. I don't think the cheating is an issue or anything like that. I don't think that it's not fun, right? I think that it's actually, if I'm at home for like 8-9 hours, I cannot assure myself that I'm going to play Dragon Ball that whole time. I may fall asleep. I may get tied up with like my son or something like that.
But for those that don't know, Mike also regularly falls asleep.
Oh yeah, I fall asleep while playing Dragon Ball.
You fall asleep. The other day we were playing Call of Duty and he fell asleep while running in the middle of a match.
Yeah, I sleep a lot. So this is saying, man, I might go downstairs to get a bite to eat mid. It's just too many things. Like I could just miss around or be late. Like it's just nah.
I tell you what, though, the nice part though about it though, on the flip side, for that exact same reason, there was one match I was literally just sitting there eating pizza while playing this guy. I don't know if that's disrespectful, but it's kind of nice.
Did you win?
Yeah.
Disrespectful.
Yeah.
I say it's crazy. It's just it's for some, and I really like the social aspect of going out to a card shop or a convention center and playing with people, seeing friends, seeing people I don't even like. I love that feeling when somebody's in the building that I don't like, and I'm like, man, fuck that guy, because I'm not gonna see them any other time. So saying fuck that guy when he's not around me, that just seems wrong. That seems like I'm hating. But if he's walking right by me, I'd love to get a fuck that guy in there.
So yeah, that's a little bit of a bummer. I was, and I don't think prizing can be too top heavy because then everyone will cheat.
It should have been metal cards though. They should have these metal cards made because they've done metal cards every year.
And they're not that expensive to make.
Exactly.
Then they don't have to make them like elegant like they did for the national champ. But just something, man, something special. If you earned your invite, even if it was participation.
How about alt art leaders? Whatever leader you entered with, you get an alt art version of it.
Yeah, that would be so cool. And that's a low cost for them too.
Let's say it's no cost to them at that point, right? But I think this was lazy of them.
Yeah, I agree. So that's a bummer. If you got your invite and you're playing, that's
congratulations.
Awesome. Yeah, congratulations. Good luck. But also, tournament packs now available. New tournament packs.
Sore spot for everybody here. Because Set 10's tournament packs, all those cards on the market, dumb expensive. And there weren't even staples in there like that, except for Zarbon. Zarbon was a staple for green. But now there's like actual staples.
There were cards I don't think anyone's ever even played.
Yeah.
They're still like $30+.
Absolutely.
Insane.
So imagine this TP that has a fuck ton of playable cards. How expensive they're going to be. I'm like, oh my God. Like I personally, I'm not going to say no names on who I've bought stuff from because I don't want to out nobody. But I spent hella money on these baby revenge death balls or revenge what the counter attack,
the blue one,
the blue baby counter attack card,
the better D magic for baby,
the advanced D magic. I've spent so much money on them. I do have 8 of them now, but nobody needs 8, but I have 8. I spent a bunch of money on those. So I wanted to get the Brolys. Someone dead ass told me $130 a piece.
That's insane. And from our testing in that deck, it's not like it's a tier 0 deck or anything.
No.
It might be top tier.
It might be tier 1 maybe.
Maybe.
But it does need this card to function.
Right.
So they're out here charging $130 for it. This card
personally, I don't think it's going to be a top tier deck. I think it'll get very close. I think that you might see 1 or 2 in tops.
Yeah, for sure. I think it tops every event, but just doesn't win.
I think it tops most events.
Okay,
I wouldn't even say every.
we got such a small sample of events. It might top every.
Maybe.
I think we'll talk about it later on, but it's one of the decks I think that's just it assures you.
People are going to be playing it for sure.
They're playing without that TP though.
That's terrible.
But yeah, like that 130, I was dead ass was like,
hey, webcam tournament, just make a really good looking proxy.
Oh yeah, 520 for the set. I was like, oh nah, you got me fucked up. There's no way. 520 for those. The Vegeta, someone told me 180 for the Servant Vegeta, the double strike Servant card in there. I'm like, yo, this is like. I don't like to use the R word often, but this is rape. Like, you are destroying my pockets right now. There's no way.
We'll go with criminal.
Criminal. There, I like that. That's better. That even sounds worse, actually.
Yeah.
Because criminal could be anything. So, like, the other word, some people are, I don't like the word. I personally think that women shouldn't endure that. But some people don't care about that word. But criminal, we all hate criminals. So, yeah, this is actually criminal. Like, they are hitting you over the head. The Shenron card, what's his name? The Yellow Dragon. I forget his name. But the new TP that came in there for Shenron, 50 a piece. I'm like, yo, the lowest price one I've been told so far, $15. And it was the one that, like, the Goku card that's in there, like, Overrealm for 6.
The Fu.
Yeah, it's like the Fu, but not paying for
mission accomplished.
Yeah, Fu mission accomplished. And I'm like, $15 for that card. I still think that's too much for that card. It's good, but
yeah.
Not 15 a piece. That's $60 for the set. What are we? I'm like, oh. So the TPs are available. I do respect that PPG, they announced that TPs are not legal for their event this weekend. It's very admirable. They're catching a lot of flack online about it, because people who are going there that bought the TPs, because obviously stores are selling them, people online are selling them. It's just
when did they announce it?
Yesterday.
Okay, because I can see being upset.
I got a bunch of messages yesterday about our case tournament. They said, am I allowing the TPs? Mm-hmm. And I said, hell yeah, I'm allowing those TPs. But, PPG, I'm also, I'm just a guy running a tournament, and why am I going to try to restrict people's playing of cards? That doesn't seem right on my part. But PPG being a store, a TO, and having a team, it would seem wrong of them, actually. I can
see that. I just think that they should have made that announcement when they announced the tournament. Yeah. Not if, because if I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to play these PPG guys. I know they've got the cards.
Yeah.
They have all the cards. So I'm like, oh, I need the cards.
Yeah.
So now I'm going out spending all this money for the cards. I already paid the money. There's no way you didn't already buy the cards if you weren't planning on doing it.
You bought them already.
And you probably proxied them for the past month playtesting.
Yeah.
So now my playtesting shot, I've wasted my money on these cards. I guess it's good for our event. We're going to get more people at ours, but...
Yeah,
I don't know. I agree with the decision. It just should have been made earlier.
I agree. I think that they probably thought that the cards would be available earlier so people have more time. Because TPs normally come out with come in with the pre-release kits, but they didn't come in with pre-release kits this time. They got shipped on the Monday after.
Ah, okay.
So that right there is causing people like a frantic, I guess.
Okay.
So it's cool. And then the next news we got going on. Dale and Mac had to cancel the TOP2.
Oh, yeah.
Marcus made a post about it yesterday. That was going to be the event of the year. I was really looking forward to it.
I don't even know if we talked about this, but Mike he got invited to that.
I did get invited to it.
I was top 68.
I was very proud to be invited, very honored actually, because not everybody got invited. And I was like, dang, I get to play in this exclusive tournament. I'm pumped, I was ecstatic. I'm still hopeful that he can still throw it.
I mean, one day it will happen.
Oh, yeah, it's for sure going to happen. It's just where they want to do it at in Vegas, they can't do it because of COVID restrictions right now. I'm hoping, that something changes. I don't know what. Vaccine, I don't care what it is. Something happens and we get out there, But
I've seen people offering alternate locations, though.
Yeah.
So.
But I don't know. Vegas is kind of his spot for it, though.
Yeah.
So I get, wanting to do it in Vegas.
Yeah.
So maybe laws change or... vaccines show up, one or the other. If it happens, I'll be there. I don't care what's going on. Could be World War III.
Yeah, I was contemplating playing in the little
online
tournament to get an invite.
I mean, I think everybody should, to be honest. And some people were trying to say it's a cash grab that he's charging people to play in these online.
No, it's.
I said
that's insane.
This man plays in the NFL. It's no cash grab. $20 is nothing.
No.
Like, and that
He
does
does not care.
That does not fund the location of Las Vegas.
No.
Like, yo,
If it just helps him put a little bit more back in his pocket from what he's dishing out for this,
fine.
I cannot. How can you be mad? Like the pricing alone, I think is like 18 grand total.
Something
he's
like
putting
that.
it in there.
Insane. And then think about venue space.
I mean, I don't know what he's doing for judging, but if he's paying them,
Yeah.
this is all out of this man's pocket and his time.
I mean, and you're talking about $20 is trying to feed his pocket. $20 is nothing. As again, like I always say, $20 literally is nothing. That's
Chipotle.
That's Chipotle. Like cut it out. $20 cannot be a big deal. So, I hope he's able to get it going again. If he's not, until after COVID, cool, we understand. But hopefully he can get that going.
Yeah. With the tournaments that are going on this weekend, so we've got our Virginia Beach case tournament on Sunday.
Yeah, we got a lot of big name players. Actually, Daylon Mack will be there, actually.
Is he? Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Him and
I didn't know
team,
if that was confirmed.
Him and his team are coming down.
Cool.
So that's cool. Should be hanging out with them on Friday. All the DMV guys, like Daryl and all of them, they're all coming. And then we have our locals. Oh, and Thomas is coming with Frank, but Frank's part of his team. But, they'll be here. Mm-hmm. I'm glad they decided to come to Virginia because I like hanging out with Frank. Frank's a cool guy. You guys probably heard Frank the mailman on the main discussion group. Looking forward to getting him up here one day.
Yeah, definitely. That's going to be a blast, man. I can't wait. I was really bummed that I missed the last case tournament when everyone came down. So I'm excited that I can do this one, and all the homies are coming back. So I can't wait.
The only person not coming back is Dashy because the flights are insane because it's Columbus Day weekend. I was trying to figure out why they were insane. The price was like $700.
Okay.
I was like, why the hell is it $700 to come to Virginia Beach off tour season?
During a pandemic.
When the airlines need money.
Yeah, that is crazy. It's that much.
So, I was like, my girlfriend, her sister actually works for Delta. And I was like, Calvina, I was like, why are tickets so expensive for this weekend? She's like, it's a federal holiday, Columbus Day. I said, damn. Christopher Columbus fucking us over again. But we got a lot of people. PPG's tournament, though, looking stacked. They put the names of the people who are going to be out there. They got all the Florida guys, of course, which we know Florida's stacked with players. And then they got a lot of West Coast guys, like Russell Stelzer,
they're all coming out.
They're all coming down to Florida. So
nice.
That tournament's looking stacked. And then there's also another tournament this weekend. So, we're capped at 40. I think PPG's capped at 68, I think they said.
Okay.
I can't remember. I think it's 68. And then there's also the New Jersey 1K.
The 1K, right.
Also this weekend. The computer game.
El Topo Loco.
El Topo Loco and all the guys
up
there, yeah. So while you look at these events this weekend, you might be like, oh, they're smaller. But this is a lot of people out playing Dragon Ball at one time.
It's all the players that usually top anyways.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to see what the format is, there might not be a 300-person regional, but who cares about the 200 players that never win?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
No one cares about them.
If you want to know what decks are good and what decks you want to play,
these are great sample sizes right here.
Great
This
events.
is cream of the crop players at each location playing it out.
Really, I think this is actually a better tell of what the best decks are than a typical regional, because you have although it's a smaller tournament, there's more quality players because the people traveling to these events aren't really casual players.
No, they're people traveling.
Casual players aren't traveling during COVID. It's more the people who are a little bit more serious and take the game more competitively. So
exactly, I think this is the best sample size. So when you look at PPG's tournament, you know that all the people who top there were playing good players all the way to the top. Exactly. Yeah, you might have got one or two easy rounds. You can get, but in a regional, man, let me tell you, one of my first regional I topped, I got 2 easy rounds back to back, and I got another easy round in round 4. I said, God damn, this is insane. I'm 4-0.
I had the same thing when we went to the, I think it was the Jersey City regional.
Yeah.
I think it was like round 4. This guy was playing this deck that I don't think I even saw when the deck was new. It was like some World Martial Arts deck.
Yeah.
And it was just terrible. Mm-hmm. And I mean, the guy was nice, and even he was like, yeah, I don't really play that much. I'm just a local guy. I thought I'd come check this out today. And he made the round 4. I'm like, what is going on?
Round 4 undefeated. And that's what I'm saying. So I think right here, you're guaranteed to see the bigger names play each other in earlier rounds, which is really going to show the decks how they do. So, and the fact that it's 3 tournaments with quality players in them, I think you're going to see a lot of similar results. But we'll talk about the results I think that we will see later. But I think you'll see a lot of similar results outside of one outlier, I believe.
Cool. Aside from that, the last of the news that we've got are just the new events that we have a little bit more information on or new information on from Bandai. We've got store championships coming this November. So
I'm looking forward to those.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It's nothing big. I was hoping we get something different for prizing, which we did get the revision pack, so I guess that's different. But the revision pack, guys,
not looking good.
Terrible. We talked on the first episode. We talked a lot about how they should have banned Bibbidi, and not errated the super combo.
Yeah.
And we also talked about how we think that there should just be a pack that comes out where you have all the erotic cards, which great. I saw revision pack. I was like, wow, Bandai's again listening. Like, kudos to you, Bandai. Then I looked at how they're doing it.
The cards in there.
It's such a bummer.
I don't think we asked for half of those cards. There's these Vegeta and Goku cards.
Yep.
That I don't even know what they do, and nor have I ever seen them played. I'm like, what did you errata them to? And then I looked it up. And it's just a changing of the words, like real small. Like it like switched the location of the words.
So not only that, I don't even mind them being in there, to be honest. I think this should have been a sealed set where you just buy 2 sets of it and you have a play set of every card that's ever been errated with the proper text.
Oh yeah, I mean it definitely should have been.
That's all it should have been.
Product that was sold, not.
This isn't prizing that people are trying to chase after.
Yeah, I'm like, why do I want these errated cards?
And all the SRs are the SR version, not the SPR version.
Mm-hmm.
They've got they got
triple flashes
SS4 Heartfelt. They got triple flash in there. The normal the SR version. I don't want that. I already got my SPRs.
I said I'm not playing with that at all. What am I going to walk around with a copy of that in my deck box and say this is just here so you can read the text?
Right.
But then,
and now not only did they do it wrong, now there's going to be people that play them. So when you think about more casual playing locals, now you've got people with just 2 different card texts, randomly.
Yeah, so I got an SPR Heartfelt and I got a revised Heartfelt.
Right.
Yeah, it's not good.
No,
that's not good.
No, this was probably the worst way they could have gone about doing what
this was like
we ultimately wanted.
This is the Mark Sanchez butt fumble for Bandai right here. It just took the ball, ran right into themselves, like boom, and dropped it. This is not good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's a bummer. But anyways, for the shop tournament in November, if your locals are doing it and your locals are having events, for participating, you do get 3 revision packs, which I believe is 3 cards in a pack, and there's 30 total that they reprinted. You get 2 champ packs, the new one, and then 1 event pack, the new event pack. Then the winner just gets a little bit more of that stuff. They get 2 more revision packs, 2 more champ packs, 1 more event pack. So nothing too crazy, nothing too competitive. Should just be a fun time at your locals if you want to go sign up for that. And then we also got an announcement for a new tournament.
Oh yeah.
And it is the
store qualifiers.
Yeah, they're coming in December. We don't really have any details about it.
Yeah, it's like this. I don't want to say it's like a nationals, but it sounds kind of like a nationals tournament, but disguised.
So what I want to know is they already said that organized play is switching to webcam for the at least for the time being. So are these going to be in store at locals to get invites for a webcam? That's the only thing that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it's very unclear, but I think it's going to be in person. I'm going to assume it's in person because I don't want to keep talking about bringing up COVID, but Florida just opened up, really opened up. They just put, 13,000 people in Miami Dolphins Stadium. So they do know a location that everybody can travel to now, and just freely play and do whatever. So I guess my guess would be this is an in-store thing, and we're all gonna have to travel to Florida to play. Well, I mean, and I'm okay with that, but I don't know how many people are gonna be okay with that.
I don't know. I'm hopeful that they'll at least have some online things if that's the case, so people can play.
Oh yeah, they got more webcam series.
Yeah, I know, but I'm hoping that these specifically.
Oh, did they do an online version?
Are the online version? It just doesn't make sense that they would do an in-store tournament for an invite for online when they're promoting online.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're playing a delicate game, right? Because they know half their community is stay home, stay safe. The other community is, dog, fuck this shit, I'm trying to play. Yep. So you gotta provide for both, right? Because they can't afford to lose either one. Too small of a game to do that.
Right.
They don't have the luxury that MTG, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh have. They're just not there yet.
Right. So, and I mean, it should be easy enough just to do both.
It should be. I mean, I 100% agree the pricing should be the same. Whatever they do for webcams, they should do for the in-store tournament that they decided to do in January.
Right. And it should, during these COVID times, like we've said all along, it should just be stacked participation prizes and just something fun to play for.
Oh, yeah.
That will at least keep your attention.
Yeah.
Not a damn box.
Yeah, not a box. I work. I'll buy a box, But I think that if they
skip Chipotle.
Exactly. A couple times, But if they do online participation heavy with the price that they would do, same thing for in-store, but then in-store make it top heavy because it's in person, so cheating is going to be harder to do, obviously, in person. A-okay with that, And if you get your invite online, I think you should be able to play in-store if you want to play in-store. If you get your invite...
If they have the option, yeah.
So
if you have your invite, you have your invite.
If you get your invite in-store, you should be able to play on the online one if you want to.
I agree.
It should be either or, that's how I view it.
And then you accommodate... Then they don't have to worry about making the choice, right?
Yeah, that eliminates the choice.
It leaves it up to the shops.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So I think, honestly, they should allow all the shops to sign up for online or in-store play, just whatever one they want to sign up for.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So, well, cool. At least we're on the same page. Hopefully Bandai is.
Never on the same page with us.
Never. But yeah.
Still no online client, so I guess that's not news. That's more of disappointment. Been waiting for this online client to come. Need it.
One day, maybe. But yeah, what we've been doing is getting ready for this case tournament, done a ton of testing, so let's get into it.
Turtle School Weekly Focus.
All right, so before we get into what we're playing, what we're thinking about, what we're trying to decide for, decks to look out for, we want to talk a little bit about how we approach a new format and how we play test.
Yeah. I think that's a lot of people, they mess up there. They think that they should play test just new decks and write off every old deck. I think that's a crucial mistake that people make because people are going to play older decks. Older decks don't just not become good. The good decks are good for anywhere from 6 to 12 months.
Right, and we've said that so many times. And it's you can look back, it's always true.
It's always true. Like the good decks always make it over time. So when I do my testing, I take in consideration what I think the top decks for the previous 6 months were normally and their relativity to the format. So like, for example, when I was testing, I kept Vegeks at the front of my mind all the time. Can the decks compete against Vegeks? If not, this is not a deck I want to play because I know for a fact people are still going to play Vegeks. And then also I kept Sin Shenron in my mind from set 10. Can the deck play against Sin Shenron? If not, don't want to play it because I know that's a deck. Then when I choose my decks, I am worried about one card a lot of times. I know a lot of people do not worry about it, but I tend to play slower decks. Like, it's just my preferred game style is to play the slower decks. I always worry about Mysterious Strata Food. Does my deck lose to Mysterious Strata Food? If so, can't play the deck. Those are my check marks for this format. Vegeks, Sin Shenron, and Mysterious Strata Food. So when I went into my testing, that's what I was looking at.
Yeah, and I think on the flip side though is knowing that a lot of times people do want to bring that new deck is looking at where is that deck vulnerable.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because you have to know, okay, where is this deck's weakness? Have people figured that out yet, and how can I exploit that?
I feel like everybody should know all the new deck's weaknesses only because people have been playing on Untap and Octagon for months.
Right.
People go online. Nobody knows how to keep a secret. It's crazy to me. Like, if I don't test online, I play Dragon Ball like at least 5 times a week. I mean, legitimately, play at least 5 times a week. I don't go talk about everything that I've done and everything I've tried out all the time with people. There's no online. There's no reason to. Why would I divulge my secrets if I'm trying to win? That doesn't make any sense. People go online and they tell everything they've learned, and now you've done the work for everybody. I see people who did all the work. They chose all the counters to the Broly swap deck. So now people don't even have to really think about it. Like, if I just know that these are the counters, here it is. So I'm just like, man, I appreciate it, but I wish people knew how to hold their secrets a little better because you're hurting yourself in that regard. Like, if you're like, I want to win, I want to do well, but then you go and tell how to beat all these decks, now you've done the work. What is the discussion group, like 10,000 players or something like that?
Yeah, I think more.
It's like you just told everybody in the discussion group what works and what doesn't work. You just saved them time. So now they get to test other things instead. So I don't know. I think that's a flaw in this, like with people's thinking when it comes to keep your testing to yourself. Like, we're obviously going to tell you about our testing, but that's different though. But like just random people, you shouldn't be telling your testing.
especially if you feel like you've figured something out.
Yeah.
And we're talking specifically for people who want to go out and win a regional.
Yeah,
you want to go and win Nats. You want to, you want to actually go out and accomplish something in professional. Well, or I don't know if you want to use the word professional, but competitive. High competitive play.
Yeah, just stop telling your secrets. Like, there's no reason. I tell my secrets to you guys because I don't care. You're here to listen to me, and I love it.
Right.
I'm more in it for you guys than I am for myself at this point. And also, my arrogance lets me think that I'm going to win regardless. So it doesn't matter. But people who are trying to necessarily, if you've been practicing something 2 months in advance, come on. Why are you telling everybody? What was the point of telling everybody?
Yeah. Some other things I look out for, too. I look if there's some decks that are very fragile. So is there just one card that they need at all times? Is there an answer for that? If there is, then the deck's not playable.
That's how I always feel.
But there's plenty of decks that do, and then I also look at average hand size of decks.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Okay,
important, super important. Average hand size.
I play more aggressive decks, and when I play more aggressive decks now that Bibbity's been eroded, I have to go back to having more intelligent plays as far as comboing goes.
Yeah,
Bibbity made things a lot easier.
Bibbity said combo power? Nah.
Right. So now I have to think about trading though. Like if I trade and I combo this, what is getting added to their hand? And on next turn, how do they plus? What does this deck actually do? There's some decks that go down. There's some decks that go up. Yeah. When are they generating the hand size? You have to consider all those things because sometimes if you're playing an aggressive deck, there's still turns where you want to hold out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I say that's one of the things right now in this set, the Majin Vegeta deck. Its hand gets so big so fast. And it's a dark Broly deck.
And it eats its life up.
It eats its own life. So it's playing a dangerous game with eating its life, and then ditching the cards that put in its hand for dark Broly. So its hand size gets small, actually, over time. After turn 4, if they didn't kill you, they have like 4 or 5 cards in their hand. If you could just present lethal out of nowhere on them at that point. So it's definitely one of those things where you have to keep hand size in mind. I prefer a deck that has large hand size throughout the game, not large hand size in the beginning, and all of a sudden it's gone later on. But, that deck has a lot of aggression, so it's hoping to take advantage of having the large hand size early and then cleaning you up before it even matters.
Right. Yeah, so you just want to pay attention to those things, and if what I'll do then is look at the format at large. So is the majority of the format leaning a certain way? Is the majority of format leaning to where they're negging, the first few turns and their hand size is real small? Or are we in a format where hand size is real big? Because that can help me decide, okay, do I, back in, I don't know, set 2.5, people weren't on hand destruction and every deck was going down to 3 to 4 cards in hand early on. So immediately I was like, every deck I'm playing Slow Absorption. It's a 4-drop, but I have Mecha Frieza.
So it's a 2-drop.
Right. So from turn 3, 4 forward, you're playing basically top decking the rest of the game. And the format just allowed that to happen.
Yep.
Because it was either you're playing that deck and every other deck had a low hand size. So just pay attention to those things as you're preparing. Is there a majority of the decks, do they all have the same weakness? If so, is there a deck that can exploit that? Because it can go against the meta.
I think right now, this format, there's a lot of leaders that draw 2 on the front. They not necessarily draw 2 cards from top of deck, but they get 2 cards to hand off of abilities on their front side. So that ruins hand control, actually.
Yeah.
Because you can't rip cards out their hand. It
doesn't matter.
So, and people you see it online right now, you see people talking about how hand control is not as good as it once was. Like, yeah, it was broken for for Surge, Piccolo. I mean, it was set 10 Goku and Frieza with the healing pod. The hand control was real strong.
It was strong, but it wasn't. In playing the deck, because we played it a ton. It did not feel like your old traditional hand controlled deck. It was more a deck that could constantly win on trading.
Yeah,
and then after the trade, okay, pitch another card.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just value that just generated over time, kind of like a J curve as you go through the game.
And I think now people are going to have to rework and find a new way to do it because there's too many leaders that say draw 2 pretty much on the front side.
It's painful.
So draw 2 on their front side is hard to deal with.
Anything else that you want to talk about and how we approach testing?
We normally build all the new decks also.
Yep. And we build a real standard version.
Yeah, not trying to tech out the decks or nothing. When you play test, you shouldn't tech out the decks when you're testing them. You shouldn't be like, well, if I play this card, no, you're playing the deck to see how it works and what it needs. And then you figure out how to take cards out and put the other cards in.
I want to see, is the core of this deck what the deck is meant to do, or at least what I feel it's meant to do, is that even viable? Because then I don't have to worry about thinking about how am I going to fit these goofy cards in here to throw somebody off, or I don't even have to get that far and waste my time.
Yeah, say I know a lot of people who are talking about like Kawitsakai this format. It's like the card of the format. Everybody's saying, sure, it may be the card of the format. You should not be testing it though when you're trying to figure out if the deck is good or not. Right. That card does not make your deck good. That card is just good.
Exactly.
So, like if you're like, oh, I win if I play Kawitsakai, but that just means
and everyone can play Kawitsakai.
Yes, every deck can play it. So it's not nothing unique to the deck. You're looking to test what's unique to the deck, and then slide in the cards that are good and help out matchups.
And then also, what does this do over what I can already play?
Exactly.
Like when we were talking about black leaders, there's some really cool stuff. There's a lot of cool cards. But what are these really doing
compared to Vegeks?
And
you're like, this isn't as good as Vegeks, so there's no reason to even play it. Like, yes, someone may play it, and it's good to know what it does.
Sure.
But it's not Vegeks, so you can go ahead and you can write it off your list.
Right. And you might find a black leader and a combo for specifically that deck that is awesome and innovative, and you figured it out. Cool. If you think it gives you more advantage, though, that's why you test, right? Yeah. If I find this core piece and I'm like, oh, shoot, Vegeks cannot do this. This deck can. I want to try and roll with it. Then you can start testing more into that. That's how you find the deck that you want to play.
But don't have a bias when you're evaluating. No. Because if you have a bias when you're evaluating that, you're probably going down the wrong path if you let your bias steer you. Like, I'll give you an example. I love the red Bulma deck. Like, I'm like, yo, these blocker negate decks, this stuff is sweet. I do know that Blue Baby is a very similar deck. It doesn't have the blocker part down, but it is negates, and the negates put tampering effects that pretty much end the opponent's turn also. So now I'm looking at, is Bulma better than Baby? I look at the cards. I want to say Bulma's better because I just like those cards. But I know if I remove my bias, that instead of having a blocker, having a card say put a card from your hand to the bottom of your deck or destroy energy is better than me having a negate and a blocker. So at that point, I had to just say, okay, Red Bulma, your style of deck is in another color. It's a different deck. I'm better off playing that deck because what you are is done better here. So the same thing, like when I use the Xeno Goku and Vegeks argument right now. Some people, I really love Xeno Goku. I'm like, sure, it's cool. It's double strike. But is Burst 3 ever as good as Burst 5 in your Burst deck? And if you ever twist your lips and say, yeah, Burst 3 is better, you're showing bias because you just like Xeno Goku. Because there's no way Bursting 3 could ever be as good as Bursting 5. I don't even think there's an effect that could make up for it. Like, if you could tell me that Goku had double strike crit if it burst 3. I do not think that's better than Bursting 5. Because you're playing a mill strategy anyways, or an overwhelm. And
now
strategy.
You have all these overwhelm 6s too.
Yeah, so it's just.
So like, what are you doing? Waiting 2 turns, or are you pitching 3 cards?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. So that's what I'm saying. Like, remove the bias when you're actually analyzing, because there's only certain styles of decks. There's only so many of them. Like, an aggro deck is an aggro deck. A control deck is a control deck. A combo deck is a combo deck, right? And if they have similar combos, obviously your combo deck can have different combos for sure. Your combo could be like a hand control type combo. Your combo could be putting some big boss monster. Okay, sure, there are different combo decks. But aggro, when I look at aggro, is it as good as Vegeks, Reboot Gohan are my 2 measurements right now for aggro. If it's not as good at aggro as those 2 decks, there's no reason to play it. It does not matter that it can win fast if it's not as good as those. Combo decks, like, we don't have a combo we do have a combo deck right now, and it's actually probably the only combo deck putting a big card out like that. It's the Majin Vegeta deck. If there's another combo deck out, I'd have to compare it to another deck if I want to play a combo deck. But there is no other combo deck that I've seen. If you guys know one, put it in the comments.
Let us know.
Message us. I'll test it out. I'm down to test it.
Don't put it in public.
Don't put it in public, but message us. Tell us if we know. We'll try it out for you. But I mean, I don't know any other combo decks, but like control decks, like Sin Shenron is unique in control. Like, there is no other deck that removes skills from cards like that. So that's very unique. Dark Broly is a unique control deck. You don't have to compare them to each other because they don't do the same thing. Yes, they're both control decks, but they do not do the same. But Bulma Baby do the same thing, actually.
Right.
That is the same thing.
Right.
So
I think, and where there may be confusion is you're thinking, okay, well, Baby has all these negates and doesn't have blockers. But when you think about cards on board and you think about how are these attacks being stopped, if I block and that card goes to drop, what is the difference between a blocker and a negate?
There's nothing.
Nothing.
There's nothing. Say, like,
So you have to think if your cards were blank, right? Because I kind of go through like a visual in my head. Maybe this is weird. I don't know. But I think if my cards were blank, right? And I'm just counting numbers. And I can say, okay, how many are on my board? How many are in your board? How many are in my hand? And this transaction, whatever I did at that point in my turn, how many cards went from my hand to the drop? How many cards did I generate on the board? And where am I in comparison to my opponent when I pass the turn? I think about that a lot because then I can think, okay, well, this deck's really cool, but every single time, if I just don't pay attention to what these cards are or what they're doing, I have less hand size than you, and I don't have as good a board as you. Or if I was doing the same thing on the same turn in my other aggressive deck, I'm way ahead.
Yeah. So that's a perfect way of looking at it. Like you're saying the cards, remove the art, remove the text.
Right.
Just keep the function the same.
Exactly.
And you'll see that baby comes over Bulma. You'll be like, okay.
Exactly.
Like, so it stops the same amount of attacks every turn the same way. So.
And that's what you find when you test.
Yeah.
Like going into the format, we had to test that to see how, because it's one thing to just look at the curve of a deck, but it's also how does that curve interact with every other deck in the format.
Yeah. So you test to make sure the deck works, and then you test how it interacts with all the other decks. And then once you get past those two check marks, then you start looking at the tech cards in your deck, which a lot of times the tech cards hurt you more than they help you, apparently. Everybody's putting Kuitsukai in their deck. You know, everybody has it in their main board right now. They're like, I'm playing Kuitsukai. I'm like, what are you doing with it? They're like, I'm comboing it out my hand. That sounds miserable to me. I understand that it's good against.
Go back to those blank cards.
Yeah,
you just lost one out of your hand now.
Yeah, I said I don't like that. Like, it's different than comboing an ape out your hand. Like, people play the draw 2 Goku ape. You know, I put in every deck. I just combo it and I draw 2. Like, yeah, you go -1 to go +1 later on. Got it. You know, that's fine. But to go -1 to not gain any cards makes zero sense. And to be honest with you, and I'm gonna let you guys in on one of our secrets. All my testing says Kuitsukai is not good. Actually, it says it's not to play. If you're playing against, everybody's playing for baby. If you guys didn't know, everybody's like, okay, blue baby plays a lot of counterplay, counterattack cards. That's true, but they're not battle cards. Only a couple of those battle cards are worth playing from the set. Most of them suck. But you honestly, they actually suck. Like, the only one that's good is Gohan, because he makes you get rid of a card from your hand to the bottom deck for every attack. Bula, because she's just like Master Roshi, the Master Roshi negate we always play. And then the baby that says the Body Snatcher, the one that's Whis Coercion, that card's not bad, but I'm not even playing it no more, simply because I have the TP card. There's no reason to play it. The
other thing, too, is what we've found, and I guess we're already starting to jump the gun, but what we found, too, is that if they do Kuitsukai, the baby player, if they're smart, will just put themselves in a position to where, okay, this turn I just won't play the battle cards.
Yeah. I see. I don't play the battle card. I was, people are playing the Kamehameha, the Son Goku's Ultra Instinct Kamehameha.
Yeah.
Make my leader 30K. Go ahead. Combo it up, please.
Right.
You're not going to get out of this. The deck plays Bean anyways. D-Magic, the Revenge Death Ball card.
There's so many other cards other than battle cards.
Yeah. This deck is loaded with non-battle
Granted,
cards.
as someone who's playing Kuitsukai, I do feel like I need it to at least put you off of something.
Yeah, I mean, but you're playing Vegeks, though, so that's different.
Like, right, it's different. But my point is that even in Vegeks, where I don't even lose advantage for playing Kuitsukai, it still doesn't feel like, oh, this just fixes the match. It's still very tough.
Yeah, it does not. I think if your deck bursts, Kuitsukai is great in your main board. I think it's a great card because you can burst it off and it's fine. If your deck doesn't do that, I don't think it's good. I think that you're wasting your time comboing it. And also, I can see it at that point then, right? Because you'd have to combo it on my turn, and I normally only attack with one card, my leader. So you combo Kuitsukai. Now, every decision I make when I go look at my top 3, I don't want a battle card. I want an extra card. So I'm going to look for the extra card. And then I'm going to put a battle card on the bottom of my deck because it doesn't matter at this point. And then to be honest with you, I'll 100% warp 2 cards from my hand because my hand's pretty large if I'm going to put Baby Hachiyak or the one that eats your energy on the board.
Right, and that's the other thing. You can set yourself up to that. Maybe you do play a battle card, but instead of going for the play where you play like 3 in a turn,
just play 1.
You just play 1, and you warp the 2 cards, and that's when you use your negates. And then the next turn, now you're fine again.
Exactly, like the Vegeta card, the blocker. It's a blocker, and it says you have to power. So it itself stops 1 attack. I lose 2 cards. Now you have to deal with my blocker. Maybe your deck can remove it. Not all, but we do know that removal is not that prominent outside of green at this point. Like, so I have a blocker. So your next attack's getting blocked. You're losing the energy, and then I play 8 D-Magics. Like
That sounds so stupid.
yeah, like, there's 8 D matches. Like I'm gonna negate. I'll
And one
be
that
fine.
replaces itself. That card's so dumb.
It's insane. Like I was like, oh my god, this D match replace itself. But getting off that, Quetzalcoatl is not the card that people believe it is to be. It is good in your burst deck. I've played in every burst deck that I've sleeved up so far. It's in. It is not in any deck that's not bursting, except sideboard potentially if you have a hard time with baby. So.
Yeah.
You're like baby's hard. Sure, you can put it in there at that point because you're just looking for more cards to hedge the matchup in your favor. But I'm telling you now, it's not as good. It's not the end all be all card.
And I think where that leads me to is that, at least for me, the last point I want to bring up before we get into our actual testing results. This is something I've talked about a lot with other iSkill players. It's never be afraid to challenge a norm or something that someone says to always do. If someone tells you that a card is always a 4 of, as a player and at whatever level you are in this game, in your head, maybe not to that person directly, but at least in your head and when you're building, you should try to challenge that logic and see, is there a better option? Because all that will do is limit what you want to play. So if everyone's saying you have to play 4 Quetzalcoatl, why?
Yeah.
What if my deck already has a great matchup against baby? What is the other reason you're playing Quetzalcoatl?
And there is none. You're like, oh, there's none. Like, to be honest with you, like you can use against Topo. I would never Quetzalcoatl against Topo outside of Vegeks. That's the only deck I do it in. Every other deck, I would never Quetzalcoatl against Topo. Like, all right, you can just not take these cards out of my hand because your deck's probably aggressive enough to kill me on the following turn. Now I'm just losing the cards out of my hand. So, yeah, I think you should always, like he just said, I think challenge the norms. I challenge the norms all the time. I play decks that people say are unplayable. They're like, it's not good. I'm like, nah, I have to figure it out myself. There's no way that I'm just going to sit here and accept that it's not good. I'll give you an example. This happened recently, actually. Someone told me that green set 10 Goku wasn't good. I was like, there's no way the deck's not good. Like, okay. So I tested out. I was like, this deck list sucks, the one that everyone's playing. I was like, sure. Is there a way to fix this? I was like, and I kept going through, and then Meta Cooler came out. I was like, all right, this Meta Cooler card's real good. And I bought a shit ton of them. Like, I think I had like 9 at one point. So I was like, all right.
Mike always buys all of the new promos.
Yeah, I buy a lot of new promos all the time. At least I have 8 baby counterattacks right now. So, I was like, I went all in on these Meta Coolers. So I'm playing, and I'm like, man, this is pretty good. And then I'm like, this is much better than the list before. And then I got off the deck. But I did know from my best friend Chris, who's also on my team with me, he started playing Set 10 Goku. And, we're testing Set 10 Goku with him, and he's playing the Maiden package with Meta Cooler. I was like, oh, now we're cooking with fire. I was like, this is good. I couldn't get a game off of him. I said, this deck is very good. It wasn't the traditional Set 10 Goku. It was the Maiden hand control with Meta Cooler in the deck. I was like, this is pretty good. But let everybody tell you, the deck is no good. It's not that the deck is no good. It's the standard list is no good. If you go outside of the standard list and start looking at other things that you can play, the deck may become good. It's just not what everybody thought. So that's, challenging the norm of this is what the deck is.
Exactly. All right, well, let's actually get into what we found.
Results of training.
I've been working on Vegeks, as everyone knows. That's been my deck of choice since it dropped. Set 11, I think, changes the deck a lot because we've had 2 big things happen. 1, we have a ton of Overrealm come out, and then 2, we had obviously the Bibbidi Errata. So what I've been playing with is 1, do we just put in some support of Overrealm so that way I have it as an option, or do we just build the deck entirely of, okay, this is an extra battle card every turn, I'm overwhelming every turn, I'm swinging at your face, and we're just going, just not taking the throttle off. So that's where we've been at for Vegeks. I've tested both versions. We got the tournament promos in, so we're testing those out now too. I hate testing proxies, so I've been trying my best not to do it. I finally put proxies in to start working on it, but that's what we're working on now. So far, it feels good. I think it's definitely a contender. I'm absolutely playing it at the Case tournament. At this point, I put so much work into the deck. I know most of the matchups.
Got the winter hatches. I'm playing based off that fact alone.
Oh, man. The winter hatches are so nice. I don't recommend anyone ever buy them because it's stupid. They're just stupid expensive. I don't know why I waste my money on cards, but it's been a problem since I was like 10.
They look nice. That's why you waste the money on them.
Mm-hmm. I always want the nice cards. So, we're definitely rolling with Vegeks. Right now, my build is definitely Overrealm heavy we're working on the ratios of what to play out of the tournament pack. I think the Bardock's very good, and what we found is that against some decks, I just need an extra turn.
Yeah.
Sometimes I need 2 extra turns because Dormant Potential is a card.
Yeah, Dormant Potential is a real annoying card. I say that Dormant Potential is probably the best card in the format right now. Like from all my testing, I think it's the best card in the format. All the new decks want to attack a bunch of times per turn, except Baby. That's the only one that doesn't want to attack a bunch of times per turn.
Right.
But all the other ones want to attack a whole bunch of times per turn. That card just says you only attack twice, so
yeah.
I don't know that, and then it's always been good. It was good set 10, so everything it was good against in set 10, it's still good against. But
and the thing is, people finally figured out too how good it is with Zarbon blocker.
Oh yeah,
because now you go Dormant. If that first attack is the one that you need to stop, I just block.
And
if the next one is,
I block that one. Yeah, and if you get rid of Zarbon before I can block, you still just lose a card. So it's just like. Right. I think a lot of people didn't catch that. I think a lot of good players caught it for sure. But like a lot of the players who, I won't say they're not good. I say they don't play as much or they're not in the know. You know, they're starting to see it because now it's in every deck list online people post.
And because I heard someone today talking about how they didn't like Dormant this format because there's so many attacks, but even having 2 go through, some of them are so significant that they're struggling. Yeah. And I'm like, well, in what world am I playing Dormant without Zarbon blockers? I'm probably playing Shocking Death Ball.
Yeah. I'm playing Shine Death Ball.
I might, if depending on my list. I mean, there's a ton of negates you can be playing. There's blockers that you can have on board for the greater good. Exactly. If your deck has synergy with it, you've got the Ginyu negate from the tournament pack.
The Boo Boo volleyball card, and in testing, I say I didn't test this with anybody around me. I was at home messing with Go Tanks because
I was gonna say we haven't talked about this one.
Yeah, Shawn on the team plays Go Tanks. And then this guy at Locals is playing Go Tanks. We had a box tournament on Sunday instead of the pre-release tournament because nobody wanted to play pre-release tournament. They just all were like, no. And they were like, we want to play with our new cards. So we played with our new cards. And I played the guy that at Locals playing Go Tanks, and his deck was just terrible. And I was like, oh my God, this deck is worse than I thought it was. And I've been playing Shawn's version, which I'm not a big fan of because he's just not playing all the best green cards. If I play Go Tanks, my deck is the best green cards. It's not going to be Go Tanks. But regardless, after that, at that night, I'm messing with my stuff for school, and then I'm like, let me check this Go Tanks deck out again, because I'm just like, it can't be that bad. It has TPs. It had cards come out of anniversary box of support. It has so many cards. I'm like, there's no way this deck is just really that bad. Then I was like looking at cards, and I read Boo Boo Volleyball, and I was like, man, this card's pretty good. It's a negate that adds back a Goten and a Trunks from your drop. And it only costs 1. So, which I realized when I was playing is that if you lose a Go Tanks, right, you can add the pieces back, but you end up comboing them off more often than not because your deck is Go Tanks.
Right.
So this negate allows you to combo 2 off and then get the Go Tanks back that you comboed off to defend yourself. I said, okay, this is not bad. It's no 4 of, but it's definitely a card that I would be playing in my Go Tanks deck simply because I know I'm going to combo off Go Tanks pieces. So if my opponent's got me in a situation where I can't, defend myself without combo pieces, this card is my backup. It's my insurance. Because most of the Go Tanks fusion targets suck. You got the one that counts as Goten and Trunks. That's amazing. It's either or, right?
But all the other ones.
Yeah, the Trunks.
The other ones are
The Trunks from this set's not bad. Look at top 7, add a 2-drop unison if you use it. I'm like, okay, I can get down with that one. That's fine. It's replacing a card in my hand. Right. I'm all about that. But all the Gotens were terrible.
Yeah.
I said, oh. And then the TPs, I do not think the TP cards are bad. The Goten and the Trunks, the brimming with talent, I believe is what their line is. But who has them? You got to buy them, right? And at this point, anybody who's been testing Go Tanks without them probably says the deck's not worth playing because hasn't been very good. So, but they're okay. But how many of those would I play? I saw I was talking online one time. They're talking about Go Tanks, and Andre Diego and Brian Sammy were talking about Go Tanks and how good it is. They say it's good. I was like, how many targets are y'all playing for the Go Tanks? They said 14. I said 4. Let's say so.
That is wild.
That's a high amount of Trunks and Gotens.
That's so much deck space.
Yeah, I personally wouldn't do something like that. Maybe I need to ask one of them for their list if they don't mind sharing after. But matter of fact, probably imagine Brian Samuel plays that at PPG this weekend, so we didn't have to worry about it. We'll see his list. 'Cause I expect him fully a top good player. But I'm very interested in a 14 target deck like how you do anything. But I imagine Boo Boo Volleyball is also in their deck probably because comboing those cards off and then getting them back seems pretty good to me.
So yeah. Anyways, I don't even remember where we were. I was just talking about Vegeks.
Yeah.
So right now, testing against other decks in the format, Baby is rough.
Yeah, I don't think
Baby
Vegeks
format
can beat Baby.
Yeah, the Baby matchup is very rough. I have to hope for really good Koitsekais, and they draw not too well, and
You need a lot of things to go your way.
a lot of things need to go my way. So that one is rough. Broly Swap it's been testing well against that.
Yeah, I don't think Broly Swap stands a chance against Vegeks because what Broly Swap does is very similar to Vegeks in aspect to amount of attacks. Now, the messing with the hand is unique, obviously. There's no deck that messes with the hand.
That was the only thing that made our matches close, really. Yeah. It's just the fact that I was like, because sometimes Vegeks hand size gets pretty small.
Yeah, I say definitely can get small hand situations. But my issue with it, right, and I think it might just be me and the way I think. I don't know because a lot of people are really hyped on the deck. I think that when I can't combo to defend myself because I need these pieces to swap into them, it made the deck not worth playing. I just take too many attacks from the aggressor. I think that it's perfectly fine against anything mid-rangey. Like maybe Yellow Go Tanks, Soul Striker Goku. I think that Red Broly Swap destroys those decks.
Yeah, it should, definitely.
Because it's fast enough to take cards out their hand, put a lot of damage in, and then they can afford to combo pieces off because those decks just can't respond with enough attacks to really hurt them. But a deck like Vegeks that can attack you 6 to 8 times in a turn.
And significant attacks.
Yeah, it's just I don't want to have to combo these pieces, even if they weren't significant though, right? Like even just 15 to 15.
You still have to combo a piece away.
A piece away. Because the deck is just pieces.
Right.
So it's I don't like it. I don't like that matchup, but I do think Broly Swap is like a deck that people are gonna play. It does something similar to Vegeks in regards to amount of attacks, but messing with people's hand, people love in this card game love messing with people's hands. Like that's their thing. They're like, I gotta play hand control and without playing hand control, because it's not a hand control deck, it's an aggro deck. So I expect to see it fully. I mean, the TP is selling for $130 right now, so
insane.
I fully expect to see that deck everywhere.
But so far, the matchups has been fine.
Yeah, Vegeks. I think Vegeks is fine.
Vegeks is favored.
Vegeks has a Nimbus that really slows the deck down.
Right, that's what I was gonna say. So the Bardock, the SS Bardock from set 11 is great because it says that they can only attack with battle cards once, and then we also have the TP that says I can crit a life and then I can't take damage. And against the Majin Vegeta deck, I will say they were closer than I thought they'd be, but so far it's been fine.
I think that the list we were playing, Majin Vegeta versus your Vegeks deck, Trevor was playing, I think if he had 4 dormants, like I was telling Trevor yesterday, I said, I think your deck needs 4 dormants.
Yeah.
If he was playing 4 dormants, I think that he wins some of those games.
Oh, yeah, because they were already close.
Yeah. I think it really depends on how Vegeks opens. It's going to be very RNG based for Vegeks versus the Vegeta deck does what it does. Never deviates. It does the same thing every game. Unless they side the Deborah card to get rid of the quickening, which every green deck should be siding at least 3 copies of.
Yeah.
People might not know about that card. There's tip of the week right there. Side the Deborah that gets rid of the field spells for 1 green. If you let them activate Modern Quickening, you hit them enough times where it's got 4 pieces, 4 targets underneath it, then just Deborah it away. You took 4 cards, potentially super combo. It's RNG based. You don't know what's underneath it, but you might have got some good cards in there, and then you just turned off the quickening for 1. Pretty much made their 1. You nullify their 1 energy with your 1 energy, and they did all that for nothing. And they can't activate the quickening again. They physically can, but there's no way they're able to use it. So, because every time they take a life, they have to put it under there. So you get them to 4, you can never use quickening again.
Right. That makes sense. But I agree. I think that matchup, it might be 50-50, honestly.
Yeah, I would go 50-50 because if you don't mill rail or if they don't open dormant, one of y'all are in trouble.
Right, exactly. So
having dormant's huge for them, and having a good mills are good for you.
Right.
Sin Shinron versus Vegeks is still Sin Shinron versus Vegeks.
It's still miserable.
Yeah.
It's still, that's the one deck I just, if I see it, I'm going to be so sad. I'll see it, but hopefully not a lot.
I think Blue got a lot better against Vegeks.
It did. And that sucks for me.
Yeah, I think
that really sucks for me.
I think Blue, and I'm not talking like Baby Blue because we already talked about Baby, but I think just like Zamasu, Vegito, Soul Striker, they all got points towards it. Like Baby Hachiak is just a broken card.
It's so good.
Like they could think they have you in their perfect position, and you just Baby Hachiak them, and they just lose because
that so far has been the case in almost every game we've tested against Baby.
Say Baby Hatchet is such a good card. Best SCR probably in the game. And I know that's bold because Selzeno's a card, right? But guess what?
The thing is, there's so many powerful cards now.
Yeah.
And just to be able to, against so many decks, just shut them down. Because like we had talked about before, it's not necessarily saying take another turn. Like Shenron or like the 12 drop Whis that people, back in the day. But there's still a lot of decks that it's almost the same.
Yeah, it's almost the same. And then also, like, if we're playing a game, not Babe, but let's say I'm playing Soul Striker, right? And we're making exchanges playing the game, right? You don't take this card into account every time. This is one of those cards you say if they got it, they got it. There's no way you can account for it. If you account for it, you'd make so many misplays along the way because they just didn't have the card. So you have to say if they got it, they got it. And if Soul Strikers played a Booney, untap 2, and they're doing some things, and like they get you because now they have 2 untap energy, and they're just playing the game with you. And you're like, attack, you start using your energy. All right, and then on that attack that's decent and they can't stop, they're like, Hatchiak. You probably just lost. They've already made you commit to making plays, and now they have a Booney, it's tokens, and you can't touch nothing. And then they're like, windmill slam a Booney number 2. And you're like, oh, this game's over. Yeah. So,
yeah, there's people saying that a Booney isn't as good.
A Booney is not as good as he used to be. I agree with them.
You do?
I 100% agree with the statement. A Booney is not as good as he used to be. Green moving up the power rankings pretty much. Like, let's say it's like sports. There's power rankings.
Right.
Green was not in the top of the power rankings. Now it is. So now a Booney's gotten worse because Dorm Potential hitting the tokens is insane. And now Dark Broly exists. And that's the other part. Like if I go Dorm Potential, eat your tokens, and I go Dark Broly pitch, pop a Booney, make you discard a card, a Booney didn't do anything here. This was a non-threatening card the whole time.
I think a Booney's more at the power level it was at when it first came out.
Correct. It's not bad. It's just not as good as it once was. Like people wanted this card banned, right? And now I'm like, you can't ban a Booney. This is just a card.
But I mean, there's people that aren't even playing it.
I almost cut it yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah, I almost cut it yesterday.
See, I'm playing it.
I'm playing it now. I mean, I played it on Sunday. I loved it. I've played it in all the testing. Liked it. Me and Trevor were playing yesterday, and I put this other card in, and I was like, man, this card's sweet. And I was like, maybe I just cut a Booney altogether. But then I had like the flashback of thinking someone go on a Booney, hatch a Booney, and I'd just be mad.
What's the other card?
The Anniversary Box Janemba.
Okay.
I think I've said, I'm on the record saying that card may be better than a Booney, actually. For months now, I've been saying, since they previewed it. At the Set 10 case tournament I hosted, I was like, everybody was talking about a Booney. I said, I think that Janemba is going to be better. And they were like, I don't know. It's like they're
especially in Baby. It seems just insane.
Oh, it's insane in Baby because you can't ever on turn 4 play a Booney. Like I've done it. I've done it one time.
You lose all your plays.
You lose all your plays because you have to hit a battle card. But there's so many units and extra cards now in play. I can't assure I hit a battle card, so I could actually just lose if I don't have the D magic, right? But I can play that Janemba. I don't even care if you pop it. Like if you have the Frieza counterplay card, pop it. I don't care. I'm still untapping 3 and drawing a card. So all I really did was make you waste a card that you had on this card. So I'm a big fan of that Janemba in the deck. I'm playing 4/4. It's fine in testing. It lets me add extra bias or pressure because everybody says Baby doesn't do anything. They're not lying. So you do need to figure out how to start doing something. So that was my card to start doing something. The secret card though to be playing this weekend is Dark Broly. If you want to be successful this weekend, be playing the Dark Broly Unison. There's 2 different lines with it that just work. Obviously, you have the Majin Quickening with the Majin Buu stuff that goes into the 7-drop Zeno, but the Frieza package is underrated. It's real good. I don't think that a lot of people have answers for it in their decks. And the way that I look at it is, why would I not play Surprise Attack next to my Dark Broly? Dark Broly pops a card. Play Surprise Attack. Right. Surprise Attack with the crit. Play the Dabur that removes a counter from Dark Broly, making you discard a card. I add the ball to my hand. All right, so I've broken even off of the exchange right there, right? I made you neg from Dark Broly.
So you grabbed the ball.
And I grabbed the ball right here. Cool. Now I'm going to go ahead and go play the ball under it. Get this Frieza. That's a double striker. Attack your Unison probably. Not anything else. I'm attack your Unison. Remove 2 markers. Use this Frieza's effect to add back Dormant Potential or the ball. Because it can add back a 1 or less extra card.
Right.
And then rip a card out your hand. I'm ripping cards out your hand left, right, and I just keep recycling this. I'm like, oh, this is way too good. So I think that it's underrated. Some people are like, oh, I wouldn't play it. It's a big package. I'm like, yes, it is a big package, but no at the same time because you're focused on using your Dark Broly. I think that card is going to lead to a lot of success for green players.
Yeah. The nice part about the Dark Broly, too, is once it's on board,
it's going nowhere.
No one's clearing that.
It's at 5. It's like any unison.
20K.
20K at 5, exactly. I mean, when I play the baby Trunks unison and baby, it's a 15K and it goes to 5, and that doesn't die.
And that doesn't go anywhere.
So I know the 20K isn't going to go anywhere. Like, it's just, you're going to combo up to remove one marker. So now I'm eating more cards out your hand. Not enough decks have a 20K attack as their base. So I think that card, if you're playing in any of the tournaments this weekend, that will lead you to a lot of success. Also, I think the deck to play this weekend is going to be probably Majin Vegeta, to be honest. It does the best with Dark Broly. And then a lot of people just don't know what the cards do. They don't. The combo is so crazy. It comes out of nowhere. I mean, turn 2 can really get going.
Man, because when we play test it too, every time I play against Majin, it doesn't matter how ahead I am. At all times, I'm like, damn, I might die here.
Yeah, it's so many.
I might lose.
It's a lot of double strikes coming real fast, and I think that a lot of people are play testing going to these events because they said these are higher caliber players. They like to play a lot. They do a lot of tests. It's hard to answer. It's just very, very hard to answer. If you don't have the right alignment of cards, you can't stop what they have going on. And if I can't stop, that's what you want to be on, right? On opening of a format. People haven't figured out the format yet. There's a bunch of decks that got introduced. People have not figured everything out. You can't side for all these decks. Some of these decks have to disappear from the format for side decks to get solidified. So at this point, I think that's the deck to play. I'm personally not playing it, but I do think if you're looking for success, that would be my
I think it's a solid choice. I think right now, if you can play something just hyper aggressive like that,
yeah,
you probably have a good shot.
I like Reboot Gohan this weekend too, actually.
Reboot Gohan's probably a real good choice.
I think Reboot Gohan is in the position to take a lot of decks off guard.
I think any new format, unless the answer to aggro is just everywhere, like in the majority of the popular decks, I think hyper aggressive decks tend to do better. I don't have actual numbers, but we could probably go back, and I would be pretty confident to say at the start of every format, there are more aggressive decks that do better than not.
I would agree. I say that, and that's actually rule of thumb in card games.
Yeah, and it's just not knowing how to respond and how to actually handle those aggro decks.
Yeah, I say like you might find a control player who has it figured out, right? They figured it out.
Sure.
But that's not going to be a majority of the control players in the room.
And if the aggro deck's just as good, why not?
Exactly. And I say Majin Vegeta it's up there. I won't say the best deck, no, but I will say it's up there. I don't know if it's a top 3 or top 5 what this format's going to be. We need results, right? We're going to get them this weekend. But I would say that you can expect that deck in every single top cut this weekend. All 3 across the board, you expect to see it. And I don't think that Broly Swap has a good matchup against it at all.
We're not going to see much Broly Swap anyway because of what we already talked about.
Yeah, the price is going to be people.
The price is too high. People don't have the tournament problem. But I mean, that also helps too for aggro because if you think about it this way, they're also not going to have the baby tournament pack card either.
Yeah, most people won't have that card. So again, aggro is going to be in a much better spot because there's not 8 D Magics in this blue deck waiting for them. So, I think green Majin Vegeta is the deck to play this weekend if you want to be successful.
So real quick, we're running a little late on time, but how have your matchups been for with baby as far as what you've been testing against?
I've been playing blue baby a lot. Vegeks I think is in my favor. I don't see a world where I really lose. Especially once we get to siding, there's nothing they can do, right? Like, what more do you add? There's just Quetzalcoatl. I'm not worried about that card. The way my deck is set up. Swap Broly, that's free. That's like actually a joke. Yeah. With the TP, it's a joke. Like if I play Heroic Prospect Trump, you really want to cough up 2 cards out your hand? I would love to see it. Please cough them up. Majin Vegeta has been the hardest matchup, actually. It's like there's somebody posted a meme today telling it had a guy telling why you running. It was Majin Vegeta, and then it was the guy running. It was baby. It's definitely a back and forth game of me being chased and just waiting for a place where I can like turn it on them. I had to like let their hand get lower. But if they catch you without the Gohans, or if I draw too many D Magics too early, which I know that sounds crazy. If you draw all like the D Magic Revenge Baby attack too early, your hand's like 6 of those, you're in a bad spot. You need to be able to play the cards that stall their turn. You need to get to Gohan. You need to get to Vegeta, where you're just taking their turn, stalling it, and just like then those cards come real good. So I would say Majin Vegeta is probably the hardest matchup. I mean, it's winnable. It's not like it's like a super unfavorite matchup. You're like, oh damn, I see this deck, I lose. No, it's about understanding the matchup and like the game that's being played. What's another? Oh, Sin Shenron. That's a joke. That's real bad actually for them. Like Sin Shenron can't compete with decks that don't do anything, because Sin Shenron itself is a deck that doesn't do anything. So when you start talking about not doing anything, they lose, because all there is don't do anything is to play 6 Go Cell Zeno. But when Cell Zeno is not good enough, how good is the deck? Not very good, to be honest with you. But Cell Zeno is normally good enough against most decks. So Sin Shenron is still a very good deck. I told you I think it's the best deck in the format potentially. What other deck have I tested against? The Higher Dragon deck, that's free. But I do love that deck, though. Very cute. Gotenks, free. Gotenks it doesn't do anything. I have negates. They just sit there and, all right, here we are. I think Baby is untouchable by most decks. I think that it has the evasive skills, and if you have a boonies, not everybody can clear a boonie. Most decks people are playing cannot clear a boonie. So at that point, you can just overwhelm them with the boonies. So I think my deck list is up. Well, my former deck list before the Revenge card came in is up on Trevor's Broken Honor page. Give it a shot. Try it out. For y'all listening, I think it's good. I didn't drop games this past week. I dropped one game to Trevor in tournament. He's the only game I lost actually, but I won the round though. But other than that, I just 2-0 on everybody in testing. Very clean. Haven't been losing.
Yeah. The spread for Baby has seemed great, and if you guys do want to check that out, we always put the link to Trevor's YouTube, Shawn's YouTube, as well as the Hermit Style YouTube as well. Mm-hmm. So you can definitely go check those out. We got all the videos from the team up there.
So we should have Trevor should have new videos of our playtesting sessions, because we're going to start. Because we're talking about our playtesting, and I was like, it'd be a good idea to put our videos of us playing on Trevor's page, so you'll be able to see some playing. I think this week we're going to put up a couple games that we play also. So look forward to this.
For sure. So Mike's playing Baby. I think there's a great spread. I'm playing Vegeks. I don't think I have as good of a spread, but I think most of my matchups outside of a couple are still winnable. I don't think there's many matchups that I have that are not winnable or I'm favored.
No, I think you're in a good spot.
So far testing's gone well. Like I said, the main concern is going to be decks that see all their dormants that are playing green, and then Sin is tough, and Baby. Mm-hmm. Outside of those, I think I'm pretty good. And Trevor's playing Majin Vegeta, I believe.
Yeah, Trevor's on Majin Vegeta.
Shawn,
God knows.
Maybe Gotenks.
He had Majin Vegeta sleeved up today.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah, but a different style of the deck.
He's been playing Gotenks the most.
Yeah, but I think he's off that.
Okay.
He did real bad this weekend.
So Shawn is to be determined. What'll be a surprise next week when we talk about the results of the case tournament.
And Chris is on Bulma again. So
Chris is back on Bulma. Okay. I know he's thinking about Broly.
Yeah, but he's going to play Bulma. He just likes the red cards.
So there you go. So we'll see. So it's cool though. We got 5 different decks, so at least we'll see how they stack up and how we do in that tournament. Before we wrap up, guys, let's we got a couple new reviews, so let's get into those.
I got a special order on a pallet of sweets for Jocko.
Wait, aren't you Monaka?
Monaka's Delivery Service.
All right, so some new reviews up on Apple Podcasts, guys. If you have not yet, leave us a review. Let us know what you think. We got one from PRaz77 who said, "Keep it going, guys. We need more insight into this community. Thank you." Thank you, sir.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for that. And then we also got another one from Ivo043. Looks like it came from the Netherlands. Great podcast, which is fun and informative. Good job, guys.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, so shout out to you. We really appreciate it. We love getting feedback. Let us know what you like, what you don't like. And we've been getting a lot of love specifically from the Netherlands. At one point, we were number 16. I don't even know how that's possible. But, hey.
Keep listening, guys.
Yeah, we appreciate you. So, but that's it. We will let you know next week how the case tournament went. We'll have tons of results, so we're real excited for that episode. In the meantime, follow us on your favorite podcasting app. Check us out on YouTube. We got links in the description, and we'll see you next week.